Okay, let me see if this is on testing. Oh, all right, guys. Hope everyone is having a nice evening. Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. I'm sorry for running a little late. I just have to show you this. This is hilarious. Obviously, there's a glitch. You could see here, this is Coin Tracker. We're looking to an issue with our upstream data provider that is resulting in incorrect prices. This issue will not impact your tax calculations. I just, of all things, no, I don't have 2 trillion, 2.6 trillion in crypto. I don't have that, so don't worry. I just thought that was great. So I had to share with everybody. Oh God, that's really good, especially after a day like this, which was just ugly all around. We'll go over that here in a second. That little glitch just put a smile on my face. That was really funny, really funny. I have to send the wife that. Let me just send this to my wife. She stepped out for a second to take my stepson out to get a haircut. So my apologies. Hope everyone's. Thank you everybody for joining me. It's 5 o'clock Eastern. My apologies for being late. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Before we begin, please mash that like button. It really helps the algorithm for the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Comment your questions, of course. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about it. Dow fell 106 points. It was down a lot worse earlier today. NASDAQ down 1.14% today. Was down as much as 2.5%. The S&P was down 0.75. It was down nearly 1.5% today. So it did bounce a little bit. Small caps took 0.86% of a hit today. The dollar gained about a quarter point, 96.56. The U.S. 10-year 1.438%. Up about nearly 1% on yields in a sense. But again, in terms of that tracker. Taking a look at credit markets, high yield credit, not too bad, only down 0.17%, and investment grade credit fell 0.45%. That's LQD on your platform. Crude oil lost 1.4% today, 70.29 a barrel. It did break below 70 earlier today, but bounced slightly. Gold futures down 1% today, 17.71 an ounce, 21.95 for silver futures, down 1.69%. And the VIX, again, spiked, but not fierce spike. You can see 21.89. Again, the 20 level seems to tell me that's where things tend to be better off when we're below 20 in a bullish market. Up 7.78% today. So let's go ahead and get the monkey out of the elephant out of the room. I feel like I'm talking at a press conference where I just lost a huge football game, the conference championship or playoff, and it was tough. I mean, we had the 345 calls of Microsoft. Yesterday we sank. We were holding the 50. We continued in the morning, and it was just a complete gap down. Microsoft fell 3.26%. Just brutal to watch. What makes it worse was the fact that it was public to let everyone know. Again, we've done freebies before. We've helped out a lot of people, but this one just really hurts because, you know, we had exactly the setup we wanted. The volume was there, but we just got mowed down by the market. It happens. My apologies. Again, my sincerest apologies. I really thought we would get it. I lost money on it too, guys. It's not like, you know, you're on an island there. Very, very tough. It did bounce right off that 325 level or so, right around 325 on Microsoft. Again, I still own Microsoft. I think Microsoft's an incredible company. Microsoft has usually been good to us when it comes to trading, but today it fell 3.26%. That is extremely rare that mega cap stocks do fall that much. I've seen that from an Apple, from an Amazon. Microsoft is pretty steady, and to see that price action today was extremely brutal to watch, especially as it kept going down. Luckily, we cut bait on it and we just moved on, but it could have been worse. But at the end of the day, that just nuked all premiums there. So again, my sincerest apologies on that. Again, I really thought we were going to get that one. But you know what? All we got to do is just dust ourselves off, come back stronger, and see what the next setup is. After that trade, I closed that. I didn't do anything today just for the fact that, wow, it was just ugly price action. And again, at the point I thought I wanted to do puts was right on E-mini futures, right at 4,600, and we bounced to the T. So I'm extremely happy that I kind of stuck to my guns. I didn't add any more risk on top. I just said, you know what? It was an ugly trade. You take a breather, and then you just say you come back for it, and you you work again on the next day. Tomorrow's a big one. We have the FOMC meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and at 2:30 is Powell speaking at his press conference. So I have really no idea what to expect. I thought PPI would come a little less hot than it was today. Today was really bad. Year over year PPI numbers were really bad on record. So again, looking at the market here, I don't think we've hit a point of capitulation where we're like, okay, just fears running through the market. Not when you're only about 100 points off the highs on the E-mini futures. So I don't think you're at that point of full fear. But again, that definitely puts a dent on the December, and also puts a dent on any kind of hopes of a breakout this week or tap of all-time highs, unless we get a massive short squeeze tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, which could possibly happen. But again, I didn't want to risk any more capital to test that theory, to be honest with you. I still have Facebook calls. I have some SPY calls that have taken a hit. It's just been an ugly one. It's been an ugly one. I mean, I've had these days before where you just take those brunt of the hits. The worst part was that it was a freebie. That just kills me inside because I just want to help you guys, and it made us look really bad that today. But you know what? We've done some good before, and we'll continue to come stronger next time and see if we can get to the next one. And hopefully by then it'll make up for this and more. So again, all we can do is move forward, can't move backwards, like I talked about in the Trader Psychology video on Instagram. So let's take a look here on the what sectors did well, what sectors didn't. We'll go to the groups real quick. Looking at the groups, only financials did well today. How about that? Financials are the only green on the board, ahead of FOMC tomorrow. Technology was the biggest laggard, real estate second, industrials third. Basic materials and consumer defensive kind of fought to get green. Looking at the heat maps for the S&P, 3.26% to the downside for Microsoft. Adobe took a hit, which is a pretty steady name. Google, another one taking a hit today, 1.32%. Amazon was down, Facebook was down, Tesla only down about nearly 1%. Salesforce.com, a lot of the cloud names that are pretty steady have been taking a hit. Apple was generating higher today in the morning, was up about 1%, and then came back down as well, up down about 0.80. But again, the financials leading the way, healthcare doing okay, energy kind of mix unless you're in the oil and exploration. Some of the media companies did well today, Comcast and Charter Communications, T-Mobile, Verizon, they both did well. Again, AT&T had a question about that today. AT&T just seems to be in free fall. It's just ugly all around. You're talking about a 9% dividend yield. Who knows if they even pay that? But again, that's really sad to see on AT&T. AMD bounced today. NVIDIA did a nice little bounce today. So semiconductors getting a little love with the two biggest ones generating some green this afternoon. But looking at all around on the S&P, let's go ahead and break that down. You can see in the S&P here, if we go ahead and look at a totality in an hourly, you can see that we did hit that 4,600. 4,600, I tweeted about it, was that level that I was watching for. I talked about it on Discord. 4,600, we bounced off that. Obviously, I would have wished we'd have done calls or something, but again, so close to a big event like the FOMC, you just have to be careful. I'd rather react than kind of predict here. So I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. I already got 2 L's for the week, AMD and Microsoft. I'm not happy about that. So I definitely want to go ahead and make sure to stay kind of chill and kind of keep with the program here. Let's go ahead and look at the daily. Again, the S&P is not showing any kind of correction or anything like that, or any kind of bear market. Again, we tapped resistance and we kind of came back down, looking like the 50 days, kind of what we wanted to test on the E-mini futures. It seems to be that the S&P 50 level, the moving average on the daily seems to be kind of that kind of magnet for a support bounce. Let's see if maybe we tap it tomorrow or we just continue to grind a little higher. Again, it really depends on what the FOMC and again, Chairman Powell have to say. If they're talking about accelerating the taper, I think we're kind of expecting that. If they start putting dates on when they want to increase rates, like in the first quarter or the second quarter of the new year, that's when you start seeing a pullback definitely in markets. But if they start saying, hey, you know what, we're going to go case by case basis, we'll see what the next inflation reading is out, then that would be more accommodative to the markets, and then we'll see a bounce. If that's the case, we'll probably have some people that are out of bounds with puts, and then they'll get squeezed out. I thought we would have gotten that today ahead of FOMC. I thought we were going to get a green day, and then tomorrow be a little red, but that wasn't the case. We had back-to-back red days, pretty ugly price action too. All the selling was done pre-market, and then around the morning, and then right at 2 p.m. we started bouncing. So again, pretty tough to kind of call it as is. So we're kind of rocking like that. Seeing some nice strength in Melly and Upstart at the 139 buy that we did. Yeah, the Upstart was the buy I did today. I did buy some stock in Upstart. I like it long term, definitely. So again, I'll take the discount here. Again, you're starting to see we did fill that gap here of 138.29, Greg. So again, that's exactly the level I wanted, and it did bounce very nicely. So let's see how it moves forward. There is an upside gap to around 306. If we can get up there, you're talking about double where we are now. That'd be a nice way to peel off some cash from this Upstart, or hold it if we get there. Again, we're talking way down the line. Do you think quadruple witching is part of the volatility? Well, that'll be on Friday. That's just all the futures contracts, equity futures contracts that are being closed out to close the actual quarter. So again, that happens volatile both ways. So again, I don't think it has to do with more with quad witching, but I think again, I'm still with the positioning mentality of the FOMC. I want to see what they have to say. It seems that a lot of risk movement was coming up. You saw the NASDAQ, but again, that doesn't support a theory either. Look at Alibaba today, 3.5%, Riot, mRNA, bouncing, GME was big up today. AMC I thought was going to be a short. Thankfully it didn't. I was looking at those 20 puts yesterday. They jumped today 5.42%. AMD, Coin, Palantir, Nvidia, they all did well today. So a lot of growthy names did well. Roku was only down 0.17%. Some of those high beta names kind of creeping ahead, starting to make some money. Looks like some short covering, fine. But again, at the end of the day, it does seem like more of a peeling off risk than anything else. I don't think there's an underlying economic issue at hand. Really only the headwind being inflation, possibly some government issues in terms of, the Build Better package. The debt ceiling was just approved by the Senate. It goes back to the House for $2.5 trillion. So again, it really just depends on kind of the aspect or the kind of the perspective that you're looking at. So again, tomorrow the Fed will tell us a lot. We want to see a couple of things. Do they have a date set for the first half of the year, 2022? Are they going to increase rates? If they say they don't and they're going to be patient, that's a really good sign. If they say they're going to do their first one in the first half of 2022, that's a really bad sign. That's a lot of tightening. Again, I think the market can handle a rate increase, but again, the market has done very well with accommodative monetary policy. But again, inflation's getting too hot. So again, they have to fix, their mandate is to control inflation. That really is it. What did you learn from Microsoft? Well, the big one on Microsoft, really, in regards to learning, it's tough because the setup was exactly what we wanted. We were right here, right around 342, I believe yesterday. I think that was yesterday, right around 9:30, around 342, 345 had some great volume. It's not like we tapped any resistance, any meaningful resistance. Really, for resistance would have been right at 344.55. We flirted with 344, and then the market in general moved together to the downside. So it wasn't just exactly Microsoft's price action, as more of it is just the market itself. Remember, Microsoft is the second biggest component of the S&P because it is not equally weighted. So Microsoft being the second largest company on the United States, being in the S&P, they took definitely a hit across the board as risk was being pulled. Do we think Microsoft had any announcement or any news or any kind of downgrade from any investment bank to say otherwise? No. The technical basis, really 344, 450, 350 was the resistance. That's where we were going to take it, and we actually targeted that resistance as a strike, but again, just got mowed down with the market. So can't really have a rhyme or reason on that one in terms of technicals. It not exactly hit resistance. The resistance before was right around 339, so I thought, okay, we may retest 340. That's fine, kind of get back on the top end of that range, and then it just started clobbering over pre-market. And that's where the toughest things happen, is when the pre-market drop hits, because that's a gap down. That breaks all kind of stops, if you got to stop, or moving averages. Now again, sometimes that does help if you're short or you're long, depending on your position or where you are. So again, when you have a gap up on, let's say, an AMD, that's happened before, that definitely helps. But again, you're talking about a gap down when you're long, or a gap up when you're short. There's not really much you can do until 9:30. That's what's tough about options. But again, in futures, you can have a little more control. It's 24 hours. But again, in terms of kind of what I learned, I would say it's not really much of a learning thing. It's just being on the wrong side. That's really it. Sometimes you just get it wrong. That's really what it is. And the market's never wrong. You're the only one who's wrong. That's really the case. TLT puts, let's take a look at it. TLT puts, I have a couple levels on it, 153 for a breakout and 148.50 for a breakdown. We're right in the middle of that range. If you did a kind of a Fibonacci level right between here, you'd be right in the middle. So it really is a coin flip, and it's a tough one to call. So unless you have some inside info on what the FOMC is going to say or how the markets react, I wouldn't touch it. Halo Infinite, worth it. I've never played Halo Infinite in my life. I used to be a big Halo fan. I used to have an Xbox back in the day, and I played Halo 3 was my absolute favorite game that I played on Xbox. I think that was the best Halo I've ever played. ODST was kind of cool. That would probably be my number 2 or Halo 2. But Halo 3, hands down, was the best. But Halo Infinite, never played it. I play COD now, and the Pacific game is kind of weird. I don't like the map. That's just me. But yeah, man, a tough one all around. It was just one of those days, guys, where you just get mowed down. And you know what? You just got to keep your spirits up knowing that, hey, a loss is not a death sentence. The game is not over. The day is not over. Again, you just come, like I said on the, what was that? The Trader Psychology video on Instagram. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do so on Instagram. It's on our page. It has my face on it. I talk about kind of having the right mindset. Again, we're not robots. This happens. We're not perfect. I wish we were. But at the end of the day, you know, how you bounce back from a loser really defines who you are as a trader for the most part. I'm glad that we kind of, you know, we're just watching, didn't get too emotional, especially after a rough one. You come back tomorrow and you see what's up. Maybe the FOMC gives us something to work with. Maybe we continue back down to the downside and break 4,600. We can target 45.50 or around 457 on SPY or something like that. Maybe we can get an opportunity there. But again, if you shorted at 2 p.m., you're hurting today at the end of the day. So that's kind of the both parts. That pivot point right at 4,600, which was back at the levels of February 6th, which was about just last week at this time. Pretty wild to say so, or the day before. That would be last Monday. Well, we'll go ahead and leave it there, guys. I'm a Halo 3 fan and similar. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me again. My apologies again on a really tough tape, on a really tough market. But you know what? We're going to come back stronger and definitely find the next one for you guys and see what we can do. Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow for the morning note, and then we'll talk reaction post-FOMC, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Let's see what's up. Have a good one, guys.